Well, Craig, here we go. We've got to the third of the year out of the way already, and gee, it's gone so fast, hasn't it?
April gone into May.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Amazing. But interesting start to the year, mate. How have you seen it?
Well, we knew there'd be a decline in values, obviously after such a massive spike towards the end of last year. But boy, no one could have seen what was going to happen in sort of that latter part of February and March.
Yeah.
Without doubt, in the 34 years that I've been doing this, I've never seen a decline so profound, so quick, so savage in some respects,
Yeah, it's probably even gone past the description of a handbrake stop, isn't it? It's just it was like hitting a wall, so to speak. But saying that, there's been a lot of properties still bought and sold, hasn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's certainly bringing out the skilled part of our business right now, which is what we knew would happen, and we're certainly seeing salespeople and agencies that have got a real skill-based team are being still very effective, aren't they?
Absolutely. Hey, look, and when you look at it, Len, we're still actually ahead of where prices were at this time last year.
Yeah.
We just seem to have erased, and over the next few months, there will still be possibly a teeny weeny bit of retardation still in price, but not much. But we've erased most of that peak.
Yeah.
But your choice of agent now, boy, the choice of agent is so important.
Oh, it is.
Because, it's not just a matter of fielding multiple inquiries on property. You've got to chase those buyers down, you've got to talk to them, and you've got to basically get them over the line for your vendors, which we're doing, which is really cool.
The days on market is certainly growing, almost in front of our eyes, I guess, in the current times. Where do you see that going? Do you think that might settle out or settle down or you think that could keep growing?
Well, look, we've had this perfect storm. So in the interim, since our last report, obviously, we've had the effects of the Credit and Finance Act basically really come to the fore. We've had this massive number of listings come on the market. So we've had the exact opposite, of course, of what we had last year, where money was easy and cheap, interest rates are rising, obviously. So all of a sudden we got lots of stock instead of little stock. We got all these things happening. So what I see now is I sort of feel, and I'm talking to the banks, I'm already hearing from some of the banks that they're looking at sort of softening the effects of the rules and regulations that have been brought in. And if that happens, I would say that we're now heading towards a soft curve.
Yeah, I hope your prediction's right, and maybe when we do our next wrap, we can revisit that prediction. Let's turn a little bit to our auctions. I know Craig Derrick will have talked about auctions as well, but how do you see them playing out, and do you see them still as an effective way of selling a property in this market?
Well, actually, addressing the question you actually asked me, which I didn't address earlier, was the length of time on market. So what we're finding is the difference when things are really busy, the actual difference between length of time on market between an auction and a standard agency were very little, but now it's actually becoming more and more marked.
Yeah.
And what we're finding, and that's why we're still such a strong auction based company, is that our average selling time for our auctions is about 20% less than our other types of sale. And as we go further and we look at the actual success rate, by the time we get to 90 days, a standard agency, private treaty agency, is about 40% of those are selling. With our auctions, we're sitting at over 70%.
Do you, and I think I know what sort of answer you're going to give here, but do you see in this sort of market and these sort of conditions the value of marketing and putting big marketing programs around a property still as important as before?
The saddest thing I'm seeing at the moment, Len, is because the market's quietened, actually agents out there are suggesting to their owners not to market their properties, or just to get it online and see what happens. Whereas if you've got a smaller buyer base, which we have, then to me, the most common sense thing is this is the time when marketing is most important. When it was easy and there were heaps of buyers coming to properties, marketing wasn't actually that essential. But now it's not only essential, it's effective.
Oh yeah, you have to flush the small amount of buyers that are in the marketplace out now, don't you?
Absolutely.
Every property needs to do that, and I agree with you. I think the campaigns have actually even got to be bigger than what they were previously to find those buyers and the right buyer more than just numbers. Now it's really getting the buyer that's for that particular property there to show interest. That's for sure.
Look, I mentioned to a vendor the other day that real estate is now a full contact sport, and she said, "Oh, is it like rugby, league or something?" I said, "No. It's all about maintaining contacts." Now we're in a situation we've got to get the property out there to as big an audience as possible, because this is the contact that we have.
Yeah.
We must introduce it to as many possible buyers as possible. That is essential.
And that's really the start of the process. And I think from where I'm sitting and looking at our team and how they're performing, I think the really good negotiators now come to the fore, don't they? You know, to get a home sold, you've got a market conditions that require a really good negotiator to be in charge of selling a property.
Look, urgency has always got an important part to play.
Yeah.
And at the moment, most agents out there, the only way they can create urgency is by massive price reduction.
Yeah.
And that's a sad thing, because there's lots of different reasons why people should be buying properties at the moment.
I'd like to turn the spotlight a little bit to the side, because we've talked recently about having a lot of new people in our organisation. A lot of people from other companies have come to us as well. We are very, very focused on getting those people set up with all the tools, all the knowledge, and I guess we've got to get the experience into them as time passes. But the reality is, we've got to turn them into really good negotiators, and that's why we spend so much time on that now, don't we? Really, it's very important.
Look, I mean, it is very, I guess, endearing and rewarding for us when we speak to these new people that have been in real estate for, in some cases, 3 or 4 years, I swear, and they tell us just how impressed they are with the support structures, the training structures, and all those things we have in place. So when we're hearing that, we know we're doing it right.
Yeah,
we really do.
Yeah.
Hearing these stories about how their introduction to real estate was basically be shown where the desk was and where the entry and exit portals of the building were.
Yeah.
To me, we've got to be well past that.
Yeah. Craig, I'm going to ask you to get your crystal ball out. You're pretty good at this, mate.
Yeah.
You're pretty good. We're going into winter.
Yeah.
If we've got people that are watching this that are thinking, should I wait now till spring, or should I come to the market? What would be your advice as you see in that crystal ball the market happening over the next few months of winter?
Well, look, winter traditionally brings a shortage or a lowering of our listing numbers. Obviously, it's not as nice, the weather's not as nice, it's harder to keep properties presented well, and just from the logistics of getting people in and out of houses, there's a diminishment. What I have to say, though, is that a lot of buyers out there actually really want to buy in winters, because they want to see the property not in its sunny regalia, but in a real term, or in more reality. So what we're going to see is several things. Listing numbers will drop. Buyer numbers won't. And in fact, if anything, with some luck, and we know already the Reserve Bank has said that they are going to be dismantling some of these rules and regulations, we could actually see buyer numbers increasing over this period of time.
Hope you're right.
So I sort of feel that the lowering of prices will be arrested, and we'll start to see, perhaps later in this year, prices starting to rise again. We're not expecting them to go berserk or in a very strong upward fashion, but we'll start to see a gradual term of increase.
All right.
Since 1960, the average appreciation of price in real estate in Auckland has been 7.2%.
Okay.
And we'll start to see a bit more of that sort of coming back.
What about, let's go to the other side of the ledger. Let's look at a buyer that's been around the market, would possibly buy, but thinking now that values might drop further, so I should wait. What would you say to those sort of people?
Look, what's really interesting is all the statistics and all the data that we work with, or that we've fed and provided by the Real Estate Institute and the different property portal information sites. They're working on sales that were made like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So I've got buyers at the moment. I've got one in particular I'm dealing with, great guy. And he's basically said, I'm going to wait till the market to bottom out. The saddest thing is, by the time it's reported that the market is actually going up, that'll be 2 or 3 months into it. I feel that we've reached about as low as it will go. It may drop a little bit more, but not a lot more. And therefore, if I was a buyer and I found the property that was perfect for me for the rest of my life, or for the next 5 or 10 years, I'll be buying it.
Yeah.
The other thing to keep in mind is that interest rates are on the rise, and therefore, if you think you're going to be saving money by holding back, you could be fixing. If you found something now, you could fix your rate now. I would say within the next 4 to 6 months, we're going to be a 1.5% higher in interest rates than they are now. So buy your property. If you see it and you like it, buy it now, fix your rates for the next 2 or 3 years, and just enjoy.
Yeah, I think that's good advice as well. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've certainly covered a lot of what's on our table at the moment. We're still, as you can see, we're still very, very excited about the future. We can see some really good days ahead, and we're happy to give you any of the advice that you need around making any of those real estate decisions. If you're a salesperson not happy where you are, come and talk to us as well. We're happy to see if we can make you a better proposition in today's market. So thank you on behalf of Austar for watching this, and I'm sure you want to say a closing few words.
Well, just very briefly, Len, just talking to what you were saying before, the first week of May, I should say, has been the strongest start to a month we've had this year. So we are definitely seeing some changes and and I think buyers are starting to get used to the new rules and regulations and they're still out there buying if the properties are right. So we are looking forward to a strong May, and hopefully we'll see that carry through into a modest, if not moderate, winter.
Thank you.
Thank you.